What is going on, X community? This is Exostomp here, and today, people, we're going to be going over the ADL Monotype draft analysis, at least mine. So, let's begin, right? So, if you're looking at the stats, you might know if we picked a certain Pokemon, but you don't know what type. We actually picked Ghost. So, we got second pick. We were either going to pick Water or Ghost. Number one pick was going to be Ghost for us. And Burger had number one pick, and he picked Water, so I was like, great. So I picked up Ghost, mainly because Ghost is super good in this gen, with Pursuit gone, it being immune to two types. There's a few other things. I can't really remember right now. But honestly, without Pursuit, Ghosts get free switches, which is great. Also, the Ghost types in this gen are incredible, like Aegislash, Gengar. But this first Pokemon is probably the best Ghost type, and that is going to be Draggable. So, Draggable itself has an enormous speed stat, faster than anything in the game right now, besides like two Pokemon. I think it's Chandelure and Ninjask. There may be one more, I'm forgetting it. But 142 base speed, which is incredible, with 120 attack and 100 special attack, as well as just bulk that's all around okay. Dragapult is one of the best Pokemon in the game, and we were able to grab it for free because no one grabbed the Dragon type. So honestly, I couldn't have hoped for a better pick for our S tier. For our A tier, it's going to be the second best Ghost type in Monotype, and that is going to be, I can get it up here, it's going to be Mimikyu. Actually, you know what? Let me go over the Dragapult, moves real quick. We have Acrobatics, which is great. Of course, Draco Meteor, Dragon Pulse. We have Flamethrower, Fire Blast, Hydro Pump, and then we got Outrage for physical, Psychic Fangs. We got Quick Attack. Sucker Punch is pretty good. Thunderbolt, U-Turn, and then we got stuff like Reflect and Light Screen, which is pretty good to set up. There's a lot of moves that Dragapult learns, which is another good thing. So, yeah, Dragapult is definitely an all-around beast. But, going back to Mimikyu. So yeah, Mimikyu, I said, was the second best Ghost type in Monotype. The reason why I say that is because Dragapult's the first, but Mimikyu is definitely second because Disguise is incredible. I mean, if it gets hit, it's free sub, basically, which is great. Put that on to, like, let's say Life Orb and like Swords Dance or something, this thing is great. With stuff like Drain Punch, even Bulk Up's pretty nice, because it has decent defenses as well. It's got Leech Life, it's got Play Rough, of course Ghost Stab, Wood Hammer. I mean, it's got some pretty good moves that can utilize its Disguise. So like, it could set up a Swords Dance or something and then use it. So definitely one of the best Ghost types, of course, that we grabbed. So for, I think, the best, second best defensive tank, I'll go over that in a minute, is going to be Corsola. So Corsola here, Corsola with an Eviolite, let me just put a Violet on it, with an Eviolite, times these defenses by 1.5 and 60 HP, which is pretty nice, and you got an incredible tank, especially with something like Strength Step, which it learns. Of course, Will-O-Wisp, which is pretty nice. Running Rocks, which is also nice. Where is it? Rocks. And then Nightshade as like an attacking move. This thing does some pretty good work. If you want to run especially defensive or defensive, you can run either or. And it was a free pick for Ghost because there's no one that could snipe it. So definitely one of the best picks that we picked. It also actually can run a weak armor. It does have Curse Body, but it can also run like a weak armor Calm Mind set, which is pretty nice with like Earth Power, Giga Drain, Hydro Pump, Ice Beam. It's got a lot of coverage, surprisingly. Psychic, Power Gem, Surf. I mean, it has a lot of coverage, so it actually can utilize its 65 special attack with Calm Minds if I would want to do that. For our next mon, we actually have the best defensive defensive ghost type, and that's gonna be Jellison. The reason why I say it's the best is because it's Pringles, guys. Pringles. Jellison has Water Absorb, which is great against water, and actually, the reason why I actually grabbed it first. The reason why I did that is because Burger had the pick right after me, so I never really wanted to use it, so I definitely had to pick it first. Jellison's great, with the Spidef being decent, HP being, of course, great, and it having great moves like Dazzling Gleam, Dark Pulse, Energy Ball, Hydro Pump, Ice Beam, Psychic. I mean, it has a lot, Sludge Wave even, and then it has Strength Sap and Trick Room and Water Spout. Like, it's got a lot of moves that it can use, and that's another reason why I wanted to pick it up. But honestly, I just like Jellison in general. I think it's definitely one of my top 10 Pokemon. It rose up. I didn't really like it until it got Strength Sap, and then I was like, this is a really fun mon to use. So, yeah. So, for our next B-tier mon, we grabbed Chandelure. So, Chandelure here, if you can see its stats right now, 145 special attack. What is switching into to a fire or ghost type move? Honestly, what is switching into a fire or ghost type move on a 145 special attack? Of course, it has, again, stuff like Energy Ball, Psychic has its, different moves, of course, Dark Pulse, but it does have stuff like a Calm Mind set. It has Scarf and Specs, and it's got Trick Room as well, so it can use a lot of different moves, but really it's just here to nuke something with a hit and then switch out. Maybe even just use Overheat and then switch out, because that thing's powerful. But yeah, we wanted to grab Chandelure. It was just, honestly, if you make a ghost team in Monotype without Chandelure, you may be a little crazy. But for our next mon, we actually have Doublade as our last B tier mon. So Doublade has, I would say it has the best defenses of a ghost type, especially if you add on a Violet. This mon can take a hit and hit you back extremely hard with that 110 attack. Of course, its defense, its HP is 59, which is pretty bad, but paired off with a Violet, and it can really take any hit. So, Close Combat covers its Dark Weakness, which is great. It's basically a bigger Honedge. We talked about Honedge last week, so yeah. But yeah, it does have a lot of cool moves now with like Rock Slide and Sacred Sword and stuff like that. It does have priority with Shadow Sneak, and honestly, wanted to grab it anyways. I was sniped for Aegislash, but like I said, I want a Draggable anyways because it makes more sense on my team to have a Draggable because it's just super fast. For our next mon, we have Frostlass. So Frostlass here, big reason on why I picked it up is because it has spikes, which is great to have spikes on a ghost type team because you could set it up and then make people switch out constantly with threatening them out with a bunch of ghost type moves, which are usually pretty hard to switch into anyways. Of course, we have have, well, okay, you know, we have Aurora Veil if I want to set up some Aurora Veils. Pretty nice. Really, this Frozone is here just to set up spikes, but it is pretty fast, and since it does have some priority with Sucker Punch, and even Taunt is pretty nice. Trick might be alright. It's probably going to be just like a Sash lead, if anything. But it has some decent moves, which are alright. Curse Body is also okay. For our next Mon that we have here is going to be Sableye. Now, I picked up Sableye because I wanted a Ghost type. I wanted a Dark. I wanted a Ghost type. I wanted a Dark type because the Psychic was picked up, and I wanted to be immune. One of my Pokemon to be immune to Psychic, as well as this. It does have Prankster, which is nice, and it does have moves that can that it can use with Prankster, being even set up like Calm Mind, which is pretty decent. Encore, which is great. It has Nasty Plot. It has Recover, of course. Taunt, even Trick. So yeah, it has a lot of moves that it could use with Prankster, and honestly, I didn't know what else to pick in C tier, because these last two picks were going to be my picks, as well as Frostlass. So I was like, I guess I could grab Sableye. It's decent. It's alright. So I guess let's talk about the next pick, which is going to be... Honestly, I don't know how this was C tier. It's going to be Dhelmise. Look at its stats. Tell me how that is a C tier Pokemon compared to this, which is Sableye. Tell me how. These stats are insane for a C tier. 70 HP, 131 attack, 100 defense, 86 special attack, which isn't bad, 90 special defense, and yeah, okay, it's slow, but dude, it's got 3 stabs, with Steel Worker being its Steel type stab. It's got tons of good moves. Anchor Shot's great. Body Pressure's great with this. Earthquake. We got even a lot of special moves, which are pretty decent. Like I said, it can use special. Hydro Pump, Knockoff, Liquidation, Power Whip, which is nice. Rapid Spin, of course, is great, especially because I needed a Rapid Spinner on this team. Rock Slide, Sludge Wave. Like, it learned so many good moves. I was very surprised that it was C tier. So I had to grab it as soon as possible. As soon as I realized it was there. So, yeah. And for our last one that we grabbed, it is actually going to be Rotom. Big reason that I picked Rotom was because I wanted a Volt Switcher, and Rotom was there in C tier. And honestly, Rotom is a really, really good pick for C tier. With it having, of course, like I said, Volt Switch, as well as Defog, which is also nice to have. Nasty Plot to set up if I want to do that. Hell, even T-Wave is pretty nice. It's definitely a Pokemon that if someone doesn't have Ground, I could run Specs and Volt Switch constantly, and nothing can really stop me. So, yeah. Yeah. Its 91 speed is nothing to laugh at, because 91 speed is pretty good in this gen. But yeah, that is my team, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I actually left the question of the day for the end. And the question is, what is my favorite, or what is your favorite Gen 3 Pokemon? But my favorite if would probably be Mudkip, but if we're not choosing starters or legendaries, it would probably be Hariyama. I loved using Makuhita, and then when it evolved to Hariyama, it did some work. So yeah, probably Hariyama. But yeah, guys, leave me a comment in the comment section and let me know what is your favorite Gen 3 Pokemon. I would love to see what you guys say. But with that, guys, that's it. So I'll see you all next time. Peace.